All right, welcome back, everybody. Nobody counts anymore, so I don't care what number this
I
is.
think
How
it's
you
like
doing,
12
Joe?
or something. I don't know. Counting's not my thing. But I'm going good, man. Like the week was a little rough, but I'll give you some of the finer points of it. I got the new Assassin's Creed game. Super love it. Of course
Nice.
I'm going to love it. It's about Vikings.
Right.
Like it's a really good game. I have a new hobby and you're going to enjoy this. Now I like guns, but guns are really expensive, okay? So for Halloween, I got me a little Nerf gun
Oh, okay.
to go with my little costume because toting guns around is kind of frowned upon in public now.
I don't know if that's legal.
I don't know if it's legal either, but I'm not trying to push that parameter. But I was like, man, this thing kicks a little decent. But I was like, I want to make it shoot faster and farther. So I tweaked the spring a little bit in it, and
Nice.
it definitely does. So, Nerf guns are relatively cheap, so is the modification upgrades. I'm modifying Nerf guns now. And,
Is that legal?
yeah, no, I don't know if it's legal, but I mean, I think it is. Like, I'm not putting gunpowder behind a Nerf gun. I mean, what if I could? But I think that might just blow up in my hand. Anyway, I tweaked the spring in my sniper rifle.
Okay, it is legal.
Well, see, look at me. I'm legal. And what if you if you take the tip off of it and then shove a thumbtack through it and super glue the tip back on?
That's probably not legal.
Whatever. Battery is a very kind of relative term.
It fits whatever they didn't want to, label as something a little bit more extreme. Yeah.
It's still a Nerf gun. Still a Nerf gun. Yeah, so my dad was just sitting in the chair and I wanted to try it out. You know my father.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting in a chair on his phone playing around. I just grabbed it and sniped him in the head from about 15 feet. It left a nice little red mark on his head. You could hear the thunk of the bullet hitting him in the head. So I think that touched off a war between us. And of course, he's tried to hit me twice, but apparently he doesn't know how ballistics work at all and has completely missed. Also, he's very, very predictable. So, I mean, I've got that over him. But that's been the highlights of my week. How about
Yeah,
you?
I mean, you've been at war with your father probably since you were born.
Oh yeah,
So this
no,
is just
it
another
gets
battle.
out of control. Like when I tell people all the time, like my dad never beat me out of anger. It was all a lot of fun. Okay, that didn't come out the way I wanted it to. But he's never been. He's the definition of tough love. Like I remember being a kid and I was super excited about my new bike and he was putting the wheel on. And I was like, Dad, let me ride it. Dad, let me ride it. He's like, all right, I'm fucking done. Whatever, ride your bike, kid.
Right.
He didn't loosen the front nut, or he didn't tighten the front lug nuts on the bike wheel. So I was like, hell yeah, went around a corner, kind of wobbly. Wrote it off as just the new bike feeling weird. Tried to do a proper wheelie. Well, the
course.
wheel decided to roll out. I hit my forks right in the grass, went just completely somersaulted over the handlebars. And all of my dad was like, you couldn't wait, could you? Little dick. Walked off because that's my father.
A valuable life lesson.
You have to, and I'm going to teach my son that way. You're only going to stick the fork in the electrical outlet once, all right? You're only going to do it once. Or twice if you're me. You need to it's called experimentation, Anthony.
I think for both your benefit and the baby's, Roxy should buy some rubber handle forks. So I feel like a man who has to remind himself you only stick the fork in the light socket once.
I mean,
Probably going to do it again.
You need to test the theory. I mean, you can't just test it once, right, Anthony? I mean, that's how science works,
I'm going to teach
asshole.
my kid. I'm going to have to know from experience.
I'm going to have to know from experience how much it hurts. Oh, speaking of how much things hurt, what are we going with today?
Well, today I was thinking we'd talk about Dungeons and Dragons. It's an age-old classic tabletop RPG. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about it. I'm sure a lot of people have heard some controversies about it as well. I'd like to touch on, some of the mechanics, why people like to play it, and, exactly what some of those
Fucking
controversies are. You haven't even heard anything yet. And you're
Not
already
yet.
saying fucking nerds.
Look, dude, like
That's
Dungeons
the
and
legacy of
Dragons,
Dungeons
that's
and Dragons.
higher level stuff. Like,
yeah, you already know to say fucking nerd. Nobody has to explain anything. It's not like when we say persona and you're like, well, what's a persona? And then,
all right, I never said that.
No, it was in your head,
I have
though.
multiple personas, so I don't know what you're talking about. It might be voices. I don't know. The medication helps that. But yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, I don't know jack shit about it. All I know is a bunch of nerds sitting around a table throwing dice and yelling at each other.
I mean,
and there's this thing called a Grand Wizard who like...
No, that's something we probably don't want to touch on this week. You're thinking of the Dungeon Master.
Yeah, there you go.
They're the guy who...
Yeah, I went to the seedy nightclub that had one of those. There was a lot of leather involved.
That would be, the second type of Dungeon Master I wouldn't mind meeting someday. Anyway.
His name is Steve. He's a good guy. I have him on YouTube.
But yeah, I mean, there definitely was the classic, putting up your little fucking dividers, bringing your books to a table, throwing dice.
Whoa, why do you need dividers? Is someone trying to cheat on your Dungeons and Dragons test?
The DM probably would prefer a divider because the divider would help keep his notes, from being noticed by the rest of the players. The other players probably don't have a divider.
Wait, they take notes?
Well, yes. So when you play a game of Dungeons and Dragons, you don't necessarily have to play a prefabricated game, but the Dungeon Master may make up their own story and most likely will have to improv some of their own story throughout the course of the game.
I mean, that's kind of cool, but like, I don't know. I can't fully get behind it. Maybe I've had the imagination beaten out of me over the years.
It's very possible.
I'm not quite sure. Along with math, that's gone too.
You hit your head against the mat enough times, and I don't think anything gets retained anymore.
It's not the mat that you have to worry about. It's the hands of the other guys you have to worry about. Hands, shins, elbows, knees.
It's a sudden impact.
Yeah, sudden impact, just that'll really do away with a lot of stuff.
So, and I was just going to add that a lot of games are played online nowadays. You can find a website called Roll20, which is what we typically use. Or this is what I've used. And if you can get a group together, you can get a game going on that, and you can roll digital dice if you don't feel like rolling your own. And the other players can see the results, so that way they know you're not cheating. You can upload like maps and character portraits and stuff like that.
If it's a tabletop game, why do I need a map?
Oh, Joe.
Oh no.
So why wouldn't you need a map?
I'm just saying, like,
you're gonna put the map on the tabletop and play on that, right?
Oh, I guess so.
I mean,
there's little figures, right?
You can get figures.
Or like stupid little dwarves or whatnot, or elves or elks or whatever the hell you're playing as.
I mean, you'd probably like dwarves. They're pretty cool. They're pretty stout, tough little fighter boys.
Oh, I did run into some dwarves in God of War, the new one.
Yeah.
They were cool. I liked them.
Yeah, a bunch of, ale drinking, good old drunk bastards. Racist,
short drunks
just like
likes
you.
to fight.
I mean,
oh God, am I a dwarf?
Yeah.
Oh.
Close to it. You're a little taller.
I can just take out my shins. We're fine. I mean, I don't feel them anyway.
But yeah, so the way the game's typically played is you start off with the hardest part, making your own character. It's not really much of a joke.
Can I make a character?
We can make you a character, Joe. In fact, let's go ahead and do something like that. Why not?
Because this can't go wrong at all.
This won't go wrong at all. But yeah, while I'm explaining.
Oh, look at that! You got it all queued up and whatnot.
It's all on a nice little website. I
would
say check out.
That is a lot of
check
out
D&D Beyond if you ever want to check out some of the source material. I mean, it's definitely something. You can buy the books on there. There are probably other sources you could use. I'm not going to name names because those may or may not be legal. But
they're definitely bootlegged as hell.
You can find bootleg sources,
that message.
I'm sure.
I fully support that message.
Or like, when all this COVID shit's over, go support a local place.
Yeah.
Go check out some local scene.
Like the Gaming Goat here in DeKalb.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll let you check out some books even before you buy them.
Good guys over there. Good people.
So, Joe, let's start with choosing a race. So in race...
Oh, that got racist quick. I'm sorry, that was a bad joke. I
can't even do the drum roll, but tish for that one. That's not even good.
Don't encourage it.
So we'll just go with the base player's handbook races and classes. There's a lot more. You can buy a lot of modification books. We'll just go with the easy stuff, just so Joe can...
This thing's a whole damn racket.
I know.
Kudos to whoever did this.
They're probably making some money.
I would imagine.
In fact, I think we'll touch on him in a little bit, but...
Whoa, I'm not touching on anybody there, big guy.
You know, it's all fall fairs and role play, my friend.
Oh, look, I'm not here to judge your lifestyle, Anthony.
So we have dwarves, elves, halflings, humans, dragonborn, gnome, half-elf, half-orc, and tiefling. So,
I'm just curious.
Any of those catch your...
What the hell's a dragonborn?
A dragonborn?
Can I spit fire?
You know what? Actually, I haven't played with a dragonborn.
Oh, why is it short and stubby?
I don't know what their typical heights are, but they're usually humans or some other type of race who have dragon blood in them.
Oh, I wonder how they got dragon blood in. Wait, did like a human Shrek a dragon? Like donkey style?
It's entirely possible. I mean, it depends on how you're writing it.
Oh, that's super weird.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, Dragonborn sounds super cool, and then I look at the character mod and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this.
They typically stand 6 feet tall, about 250 pounds.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's a little bit bigger than I am.
Yeah, I mean, that's like on average. I mean, you could go higher, like taller or shorter, or heavier or whatever. There's like a range within which you probably should make them. You can't be like, I'm a 10-foot tall dragonborn. But the funny thing about D&D is if your dungeon master says it's cool, then you can go with it. They can make it work. They might have to change some things to facilitate having a 10-foot tall player. But
I would be the worst. The dungeon master would automatically hate me.
You'd probably veto every single thing you ask for. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a tendency to make up my own stuff, and it's just I'm chaos. Like, I am the bane of Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I will absolutely make up my own shit. What are these the little short stocky drunk guys? Dwarves. What are those?
The classic. Everybody knows what a dwarf is.
He's got a hammer. Sorry.
Yeah, they're typically blacksmiths or work in mines, work with stones, or some are loggers, whatever. They're typically people who live off the land. A lot of them like their ale. They're just that.
Who doesn't like their ale?
I mean, they're probably closest to Nordic people in Dungeons and Dragons, as far as I would have to tell.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Oftentimes they follow a religion or mostly just in tune with the earth in some way, but not as like prissy as elves are.
I already hate the elves. I don't know why, but I'm already like, fuck elves.
That's not to say that all elves are, but I'm not
taking
really a
sides.
big elf fan
I'm
either.
definitely taking sides. Fuck the elves. Dwarves.
Dwarves are definitely shorter than most other.
Do they have a barbarian? Players. Because I like barbarians.
So that's not a race, but we'll get there.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think it's a race, but whatever. But apparently I don't make the rules because I'm not the stupid grand wizard.
It's a little bit more fun.
Dungeon master, whatever.
With it being a class instead of a race. But we'll get to class.
Okay. All right. So I want to be a dwarf.
You're a dwarf. All right.
How big are dwarves?
What do we have? Also, sorry, I keep looking away from the mic to look at my computer screen here. I should maybe move these around. Fuck it. You're typically between 4 and 5 feet tall. And you're about 150 pounds.
Great, so I'm kickable. I'm just going to get kicked.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to be pretty brave to kick a dwarf, though. You're going to be losing your legs.
Do they have, like, super strength? Just tell me they have super strength.
Oh, I mean, they're definitely pretty tough. They come with... they start with increased constitution, so they're hardier.
Okay. I mean, that's like...
you'll take that kick better.
You'll take the kick better. Like, if some short dude with a hammer walks up to me in the bar, and I'm like, hey, dude, what's up? And he's like, fuck you, buddy. Like, are dwarves like temperamental creatures?
They could be whatever you want them to be. I mean, we're talking about like a race of people here. So
okay. So it's a...
Right. They don't all necessarily fit within, a stereotype. There are stereotypes for all the races in the game.
Obviously. Like, elves suck.
Yeah, you could play up the stereotype. Dwarves are typically kind of racist. They're very angry
Do
little
they
fellows.
hate the elves? Because I hate the elves.
I would imagine they don't get along well with the elves. You've seen Lord of the Rings, right? No, really?
Do you really know the answer? I saw like an hour of the Two Towers. I saw like a compilation of the battle scenes. That's about as far as I went.
Okay. I mean, fair enough.
I mean, like, I kind of understand it.
I know it's not your thing. I just kind of figured it was like a well-known enough movie.
It was.
It's usually not surprising to hear that I haven't seen a movie, but I actually have seen Lord of the Rings. Yeah, but a really popular rivalry in that movie is Gimli the elf, or Gimli the dwarf. What am I saying? And Legolas the elf, and they're usually at each other's.
Oh, that's
throats.
a short bearded guy and like the tall archer guy, right? Yeah. Okay.
And they're both incredibly capable at what they do. Like they should really respect each other more as like fighters, but it's really because of how capable they are that they kind of like, you know, bash heads a little bit. You know, they both think that they're like good enough to not need each other. So it's kind of interesting to see that rivalry play out.
That's kind of cool. I have to kudos to Lord of the Rings for that. But yeah, okay. So I'm a dwarf and elves suck. All right, where do we go from here?
You've established that with your character. Fair enough. So next we should pick a class for you. And I know, Joe, you're not the type of man who has a lot of class.
But it depends. I've been to a winery. That I have to have class now.
Fair enough. You've been to one. You've been to all of them. It doesn't really matter.
Exactly. Look at me. I am the like essence of class.
Exactly. Very classy man. So a class is kind of, I'd say, probably the most fun part about building a character, because you typically get to look at things like maybe some spells or maybe some different ways you swing your weapons, some different fighting styles you may have. And it's the way you build your character from there on out in terms of typically the fighting sense. Okay. But some classes are built around some role play, like bards are typically very good at speaking to people. They have a silver tongue, you know.
I mean, that would make sense.
Right, they're bards. You know? Yeah. That's just
there's the singing guys that accompany knights, right?
Yeah, they may have a lute, or in D&D, bards aren't necessarily stuck with having to be good talkers or good musicians or singers. You could be a bard who's an incredible artist. It's the way your magic works is you cast it through your art, through your inspiration.
So if I walk up on somebody and be like, "Hey man, I know you're really mad, but check out this thing I drew," and he's like, "Oh, that's a really good drawing. I'm not mad anymore." Is that how that works?
I mean, you know, maybe. That's definitely something you could do.
That's so weird.
There's a cantrip called Friends, where you literally just make friends with someone for a little bit. Afterwards, they know you use magic on them. No, that's just called
alcohol.
I mean, you could also use alcohol. I mean, bards are very complex people like that. So as far as classes go, we got... Let me move this over.
Yeah, you should move it over.
So we have Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard. It's a lot of
Okay, I definitely don't know at least 4 of those.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So which ones
I know like Paladin is heavily armored. That guy's like a fucking tank.
Yeah, Paladins are typically your tanky boys. They take a lot of hits for you. Most often, I would say probably almost 100% of the time in Dungeons & Dragons, Paladins are very pious to a particular god and are kind of that god's like envoy. Like they roam around the countryside trying to, you know, let people know about their religion.
Okay.
I wouldn't want someone to play a paladin as like such an uptight asshole that they constantly bring their god into things, but you could play one that way.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like me. I like the barbarian one. There's a fighter class. What, does he just like...
Fighter's kind of like a jack of all trades martial combatant. Whereas barbarians oftentimes play with the fact that they're like... I would say they're probably halfway between fighter and paladin, although I haven't looked too much into barbarians, to be honest with you. But they're a little beefier than fighters, but maybe not as fighting keen, you know?
Okay, so they're like the berserkers or whatever.
Yeah. Like typically they'll take some hits, but they'll be able to dish it back pretty well too.
Okay, all right. I mean that kind of makes sense. Like that's kind of like me. I don't have the best fighting skills, but like I do have high tenacity, and you can beat me pretty bad, and I'll keep coming forward, type thing. Okay, the druid. What is a druid?
A druid is, I'd say, best described as like a type of magic user.
Yep, that's lame.
Yeah, they live out
magic
in the forest
sucks.
oftentimes, although not necessarily always a forest dweller. They're very in tune with nature, and they can turn into beasts. I mean,
one of those things is cool.
You could turn into a fucking bear. I played with a druid who turned into a T-Rex. These things just happen. That's just shit you do.
That's still kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if you beat enough mushrooms, you can turn into a bear.
Sure.
Trust me, I've seen it work.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at work, some of these people get strength out of nowhere. I don't really...
It's ridiculous. You're 90 years old. How did you just throw me across the room? Druids. That's how I'm explaining that from now on.
Yeah, they're just druids.
They're just druids. Okay, what are the other ones like?
What else? Ranger, rogue, sorcerer.
Yeah, what is the ranger? Like, I'm thinking like
so
forest ranger for some reason.
You're not that far off.
Yogi Bear.
So rangers, I'd almost say, are a little bit closer to druids, but without the magic.
God, that sucks even more.
It sounds a little bit like
they prevent forest fires.
It sounds a little bit like they're gimped. Although they do get magic, they just don't get as much as a druid. Whereas druids are typically rather frail. Oftentimes, they rely on their beast forms in order to fight, or their beast companions. Rangers are a little bit better at fighting. They're a little hardier, and for that, they also gain a little bit more martial prowess.
Okay.
They can, fight better and that kind of stuff. I actually, a book...
So Smokey the Bear has legitimate hands then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't know.
He would definitely be a ranger class, I would think. Yeah.
That's dope.
Rangers oftentimes will have an animal friend, an animal companion. Maybe they have a big ass fucking wolf that goes with them.
I mean, that's cool.
I actually started writing a ranger who has... Is there
any way I could combine things? Because I feel like I want to combine things.
You want to combine, like creatures? Classes, yes.
Because I want to be like a barbarian, but I want to have a fucking wolf. Or a bear.
Yeah.
Or a falcon that I tried to get in real life, but that never came to pass because
multi-classing
there's licensing issues. See, look at me. I'm not even breaking the rules yet.
Yeah, no, that's
something
that's been discussed and is an official thing you could do in the game. So if, Joe, you wanted to be a barbarian and rely a lot on your own strength, but have, maybe a big-ass wolf companion, you probably would take a few levels in Ranger and mostly prioritize your barbarian strengths. I would imagine. That sounds a lot more like what you're looking for, right?
Yeah, actually, you hit that dead. Because I want to have, the battle axe, but also the grizzly bear. Ooh, can I call him Smokey? I'm naming my bear Smokey.
You can call him whatever you want.
My bear's name is Smokey.
You could name him Sir Nathaniel III if you wanted. Nobody would question you about it.
Why do you have to ruin my bear?
All right.
His name is Smokey. You will address him as Smokey.
We're just trying to get some creativity in here, Joe.
He's got a little hat and everything.
So, Joe, you are a barbarian ranger dwarf. You can now you basically would roll to determine what your stats are, and kind of the agreed upon way of doing that is rolling 4d6.
Well, dice only have 6 numbers on them.
Yeah, let me break this down so it makes a little bit more sense. So. Because
I play dice games, Anthony. I know what I'm doing.
You've played very simple versions of dice games. This is a very complex dice game.
I don't want to play this dice game anymore.
So you have a D6. You know what a dice is.
Yeah,
It's got 6 sides. It goes up to 6. Very plain and simple. There are a lot more than just that. There's D... Was I about to say D3? D4. God, brain can't help me. Brain help. D8.
Did you just have a seizure?
Yeah, a little bit.
Or a stroke or something?
D4, D6, D8, D10. There's a D20.
Is there a D12?
D100. I think there's a D12. I don't think anybody uses it.
That was a solid band. I like Eminem. D12. That was a good band.
But you have most likely have each of these dice, probably a few D6. And when you're rolling for your ability scores, you typically will throw 4d6, and then you'll cut the lowest number. So you'll take the 3 highest d6 that you rolled.
Okay.
And that will make 1 stat. And you're going to do this 6 more times.
What does the stat go up to? Is it out of 100 or something?
You can have a max of, I think if you're rolling, you can get up to 18 with the way that works. Can I count right? Yeah, that would be 18.
Can I count right?
Because if you got 3 6s.
So 18 is the highest you can get on
it is technically not. You can go a little higher than that. 20 is the highest.
Okay.
But there will be other ways you can raise your ability scores.
Oh, gotcha.
So you
because like I kind of know what they are because
Yeah.
I played Madden and like everybody's got a speed ranking and a
Sure.
strength rating and a cover ranking and
Yeah, basically something like that. So these scores you are trying to roll into are, if I can remember them all correctly off the top of my head, strength, intelligence, constitution. Those are pretty major ones. Then you also have wisdom, charisma, and dexterity.
okay. I mean that's not a lot. Like what
Yeah, it's only 6.
if you were rolling imaginary dice right now? What would you say I would score highest in? I know I'm setting myself up for this, but screw it for the sake of humor.
Well, you're setting yourself up for what would I think you'd roll lowest in.
Okay, if you want that to be your starting point, go ahead.
But if you want to be a barbarian ranger, you surprisingly would need, let's see, barbarians I'm sure almost definitely need strength, maybe constitution. I'd have to go look that up.
yeah, they're probably going to take some.
But for ranger, you need dexterity and wisdom. So you'd actually probably need some good wisdom. Barbarians only need strength. I can confirm this right now. Rangers do need dex and wisdom. So you'd probably prioritize... You probably don't have to prioritize wisdom. Actually, you might not have to prioritize dexterity, but that could make some issues later. But I would say you'd probably want strength and constitution to be really
I can
high.
swing away, but if I can't hit anything, that's kind of shit. Like,
That would be an issue, although you, I think, would use your strength stat for hitting things. So
well, I mean, dexterity
that.
too. I mean, I fought for years. It's hard to hit something that's moving.
that's true.
Like,
I
you're gonna need dexterity.
think
You're gonna
certain
need
weapons
footwork.
require dexterity for that.
Oh, I guess like a dagger might require more than like a warhammer. Oh,
Right.
can I have a warhammer?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking like the one with the hammer and the spike and the.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
Definitely.
I'm gonna order one off of Amazon when I get home.
I would like to see that. Because I also would like a fucking melee weapon.
It's good for home defense. All I need is like a flashbang, a shield. Yes, you can actually buy Kevlar shields online. Totally look that up. Like a Kevlar shield and just like an axe, like just a regular single hand battle axe. I'm just saying, you see a naked guy, you're blind and deaf, you see a naked guy come screaming out of a room with a battle axe, you're not going to know what to do. Now you got a battle axe in your head. It's like real life Dungeons and Dragons, except, murder.
Exactly. You were prepared for that night assault. You were about to be ambushed in the middle of the night, but you were prepared. You were one step ahead.
But now the last thing you saw before you died was my balls.
A naked man with an axe.
It's like that one time I went... Never mind. Just...
But yeah, you'd probably prioritize strength and constitution. So strength to hit people hard, constitution to take hits hard.
Yeah, look at me.
You'd probably also have dexterity and wisdom up there just because of your ranger subclass. But your intelligence and charisma probably wouldn't be that good. Intelligence would probably be a dump stat for you. I don't see why you need it too much. Yeah, you probably wouldn't think that good.
I don't think good.
You also wouldn't be very friendly with people with a lower charisma, which would be kind of surprising considering the Joe I know, but some sacrifices have to be made.
Whoa, did you just admit I'm like relatively charismatic?
You are fairly charismatic. Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate you.
Intelligence and wisdom are your dump stats, though.
That hurts. What Anthony giveth, Anthony taketh away.
That's what I have to do. So, Joe, these are kind of like the bare bones requirements for making a character.
Okay.
You could put this character in a game with his stats, and you could go ahead and play. But this character would be kind of bland. You'd have to give him a backstory. You'd have to give him a reason.
No.
Yeah. This is the part that's the hardest, I would say. Give him a reason to be doing what he's doing and why he's doing it. I mean, if your DM says, those
motherfucking elves killed my family.
Oh, damn.
I'm on a vengeance
getting
mission
a very, very targeted backstory here.
Yeah. No, I don't like these elves. Like, they're all like, look at me, I have wings. And right, do elves have wings?
No.
Oh.
You're thinking of fairies.
Whatever. Fuck
I'm
the
pretty
fairies,
sure.
too. Look, anybody who's not a dwarf or... Who are the dwarves aligned with?
Oh, my God, dude. I don't know if I like the direction this is going. I mean, dwarves would kind of typically be allied with humans. Get along with everybody because they're fucking humans. I mean, but like elves really aren't that surprising for dwarves to be close to. But I mean,
Did you not hear what I just said?
No, I heard you. I heard you. So, I mean, we could say
okay.
that.
Okay, fine, whatever. Elves are off the table. Who did the dwarves not really like all that much? Is it those dragonborn sons of bitches?
You're very specifically looking for a race to pick on, and this is something I'm not sure I feel good about. How about like a race that people typically don't play, like goblins or kobolds or something like that?
What the hell is a kobold? That's a car, Anthony.
No, not a cobalt. A kobold.
Okay, what the hell is a kobold?
I usually see them as different depending on what game we're talking about.
Oh, now you see races as different, huh? Are they lesser, Anthony? Are they like the elves? Because the elves suck, Anthony.
They're all unique in their own way, Joe. That's what I'm trying to say.
Also, fuck the fairies. Are there fairy breeds?
We're getting into some deeper stuff here than I was prepared for. Yeah, I'm sure there are different types of. I mean, fairies are probably like
Tinkerbell.
Right, like your typical like you'd think of like Tinkerbell when you think of fairies, right? But there's like a whole fucking category of creatures that are known as the Fae, and the Fae.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's actually Norse mythology. The Fae. I do know a little bit about that.
Oh, there you go. That's apparently what a kobold is in Dungeons and Dragons. It's very much more lizard-like than I thought it would be.
Okay, yeah, fuck that thing.
Sure. So, Joe, the dwarf barbarian ranger, his
who apparently doesn't like any other race in the game.
None of them, but none more so than kobolds because they attacked his logging town.
Yeah, they attacked my logging town. Fuck you, lizard people.
And those kobolds may have gotten their asses completely kicked, but Joe didn't like the fact that they barged in on his territory.
How dare you? Where's my warhammer?
So Joe's entire drive as a character is fuck kobolds. You really painted me a wonderful image here, Joe. What a beautiful canvas.
They attacked my town. My child was in there. My child.
Ooh, okay, I like this.
Half dragonborn, half dwarf elf thing. Wait, no, not elves. Fuck the elves. Yeah, that's the tangent I'm on right now. This half dwarf, half dragonborn, because I married a dragonborn, because I'm not racist, Anthony.
Okay, you're not racist.
All right?
Except for
I married a dragonborn, so now he's a dwarf that breathes fire.
Sure. And they nearly endangered your son.
Yeah, they were like, hey, they woke him up. He is a baby. They woke him up, Anthony. My dogs are barking now. You woke my baby up. I know you don't have kids, but you woke my fucking baby up. All right? I take that shit literal. All right? What if I'm a night shift worker? I work night shifts in the mines because I'm a dwarf. I came home. My wife is at work.
That makes sense.
I'm trying to keep this baby asleep during the day so I can get a little bit of sleep. And then these asshole fucking kobolds come in and they're like, hey, let me get you gold or whatever dwarves have.
Right.
They tried to steal my warhammer because that's a blessed warhammer because that's Mjolnir.
Right.
All right? I wield Mjolnir because I am worthy, Anthony.
Well, I don't know if you quite wield Mjolnir, but we can get there. We could get you Mjolnir someday.
Oh, I appreciate you.
So you're basically sitting, shirtless on your bed in the middle of the night. You're picking up your warhammer. You're loading up your crossbow. You're getting your dogs ready. And Roxy the Dragonborn's like, Joe, no, you don't have to go. We dealt with the kobolds, Joe. And you're like, they came into my territory. We're gonna get them out of here. I don't want to see them again. And then you just storm off in the middle of the night, not to be seen for weeks.
Exactly, just like in real life. I mean. Oh, I'm not anywhere. I'm just at work. That's literally it. I storm off for weeks at work because we're understaffed. But, so I storm off into the goddamn woods, and what do I come across? A fucking elf. Or wait, no, kobold. I don't know. There's something about the elves is pissing me off right now.
You really, really don't like elves.
Well, the way you described them didn't seem very appealing to me.
Usually when I say terrible things about elves, why am I allowing this to happen on this podcast? I call them knife ears because they've got those pointy ears.
The pointy little ears. Look here, you little knife-eared weeb. All right.
Yeah, I mean, you find a dorky little elf. It's okay.
Right? Not only did the kobolds come to my village, but that elf over there called me short. All right. Now he's gonna get the warhammer.
Sounds like the type of thing an elf.
Now he's gonna get the he called me short and barrel chested. All right, look, I know when someone's calling me fat. All right, don't call the dwarf fat. All right, I don't fucking go to your elf and be like, hey, knife ears, shut your fucking face. But now I am because you called me short and fat, and now I'm at war with the elves too. Fuck kobolds.
This has gone a whole completely different direction. So,
I'm making up my own story. Look at me, I'm Dungeon Master now. I'm Dungeon Master now.
So yeah, the nice thing about what you've given us there, surprisingly, you made it a little bit more story rich by saying you had a family. You know, you have a child back home that you care about, right?
Yeah, who's half.
Apparently, not enough.
Do you know how hard it is to raise a kid who breathes fucking fire, Anthony?
I would imagine that would be a little tough for a dwarf.
Yeah, it's really bad. I mean, we don't have a stove, but I mean, he is a stove, so I can warm my hot pockets on his breath.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, you surprisingly have more creativity than you give yourself credit for, even if you were just kind of describing your home life a little bit there. But those are the type of things where if you gave that to a DM, they would probably like to play with that, you know, and really try to make you question, you know, have your character question things like, you know, why is it that I've left my family to go take care of this, right? Or
yeah. Because
maybe,
kobolds suck, and they're ganging up with the fucking knife ears.
Maybe on occasion you receive, you know, letters from your family, from your wife, who wants you to come home.
Yeah, who's like, come back here, I swear to God.
Joe,
like...
genocide on the kobolds isn't worth it. Please come home. But you're on a quest, okay? Maybe
most of them. Just come home.
Maybe a god. Maybe Thor was like, kill the kobolds.
Yeah,
Joe.
exactly. The voice that in my head that I've now dubbed Thor is telling me to kill the kobolds. I'm not gonna not listen to that.
You know, and there would come a point where you get to choose your equipment. You can have your warhammer. There are different types of armor you can wear, from light to medium to heavy. Heavy armor is. You know, you're not going to be sneaking around in heavy armor.
Do I look like a guy
noisy.
who sneaks around, Anthony?
And no, of course not. I'm just letting you know that that's the downside of wearing heavy armor.
You work with me. I'm not exactly a quiet person.
The upside of wearing heavy armor is you're going to take hits a hell of a lot better because you are fully fucking armored.
Because I am a tank. I am a tank with a warhammer.
And there are some medium armors you can sneak around in, but they're a little bit better than light armors. Light armors pretty much exist for the pure spellcaster type characters. If you're a pure spellcaster, which you're not, Joe.
I'm going to say this again, fuck magic.
I'm just bringing it up for the purpose of it. If you're a pure spellcaster, you're probably wearing light armor. You could probably sneak a little bit better than your heavy armor classes, but you're not going to be taking hits. Or at least you shouldn't.
I have a feeling magic is probably going to fuck me up pretty bad, though.
Yeah, I mean, if some guy is able to shoot magic at you from, you know, like 60 feet away, and you're only
But
moving...
if I have a sniper rifle from 600 yards away...
I don't know if sniper rifles exist.
Fine, sniper crossbow, whatever, Anthony.
Sure. I mean, if you brought your crossbow, then,
yeah, sniper
I said
crossbow.
You were loading it up.
Yeah, you said it earlier. Now I got a sniper crossbow.
So there you go.
Boom, fuck you, elf.
You do have an option. Oh, and you're a dwarf, so that means you don't move at the same speed as other characters because you're stumpier.
I have short, dumpy legs. It's real life all over again.
So yeah, you've built up your class, your race, your equipment, and you'd probably start playing a game. Your DM would tell you what the setting is, why you guys have all come together. You would probably say some reasons as to why you're out here as well, and you'll probably try to get to know some of the other characters in your party, or maybe not. Maybe you're an asshole.
I'm not a complete asshole. I want to know what
their deal is.
What is your race, Anthony?
I've been playing a tiefling. I like tieflings.
What is a tea-light?
A tea-light? You didn't even
I didn't even try
about that one.
What is a tiefling?
A tiefling, they're kind of
is
like...
that some kind of tree?
No. They're like long since ancestors of like, I would say probably hybrid humans and demons. There's definitely demonic blood.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna get along.
Yeah, there's demonic blood in there. They're oftentimes a lot more charismatic than other races, a lot more silver-tongued. I mean, they're demons. Go figure. Mine is, of course, a bard, because it, of course, fits that kind of line of thinking there. His name is Baroque. Baroque's kind of a cool name for that, I think.
That is kind of okay. I'll hand you... Oh, what is my name? I have to think of a name, right?
Yeah. You can think of any name you want, Joe. There are some, like... let me go ahead and look at the dwarves
Cobalt
again.
Killer. I'm sorry. I don't need to go to war with all these things.
He who
but-
kills the kobolds.
Oh, I gotta think of a really cool name because I can't be a super cool character.
So, I mean, a few male names for dwarves. I mean, there's like Alberic, Bairn, Morgren, Kildrak,
Kildrak.
Kildrak's pretty cool. Actually.
Kildrak.
Thorin, like almost like Thor, but it's like Thorin. That's pretty cool. They all kind of follow that theme. I would say they're probably a little bit more.
Woden.
Yeah, I mean,
Can I be Woden?
You could probably be. I mean, sure, you could be Woden. Why not?
Yeah, because it's just the Germanic pronunciation for
Pronounced
Odin.
Odin, right? So, I mean,
And it's also what Wednesday is named after. The more you know.
is that real?
Yeah, that's totally real. Most of there's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are all based off of Norse gods.
Okay.
Tuesday is Tyr's Day. Wednesday is Woden's Day. Thursday is Thor's Day. Friday is Freya's Day.
Okay.
Yeah, the Christians couldn't beat the Vikings, so they assimilated the culture. If you can't
Sure,
beat them,
sure.
if you can't beat them, buy them.
Right. You know, allow them into your little cult and just tell them like, we'll give you some days of the week. It's fine.
Exactly. Like, and you know, as a what am I again?
You're a dwarf.
A dwarf. I can probably be bought very well. I'm just saying, they got a penchant for metal, right? Gold's a metal. I like gold.
Yeah. As you play, your DM will probably either award you experience, or will just after certain events pass, he'll say like, all right, everybody gets to level up. It just depends on the way the DM wants to handle it. It's a little bit less cumbersome to do it that way, because if everybody's keeping track of experience, you get some messy situations. But it depends on how they're playing.
I know. I hate being the bookkeeper in spades. It's just a pain in the ass.
there's plenty of bookkeeping already, so there's no reason to add any more.
Oh, God, that hurts me.
But
That hurts me on
you-
a whole nother level.
As you level up, you'll gain more abilities from your class and sometimes from your race. As a tiefling, Baroque started with, I think he started with, what was it called? It's like Infernal something.
Dante's Inferno.
It was a cool sounding name. But basically, when someone lands a blow on him, when somebody hits him,
They set on fire.
yes.
Oh, well, called it.
Yeah, it's something he can only do once a day, but he can ignite his opponent on fire if they touch him.
No,
So,
we're
I mean-
really going to be friends.
Yeah,
What is
it's pretty
my
sick.
special ability?
I'm sure you have one. I'm pretty sure they have, they have like
Don't say autism.
stone talking or something. Hold on.
Why do I know? You're just going to go down the shittiest road possible, Anthony.
It's what I do, man.
You couldn't give me, like, I don't know, some, like, thunderclap where I strike the asshole with lightning.
I like that one of the things underneath the dwarf tab in races, like long memory, long grudges. It's like that just tells you already.
Fuck the elves. All right.
Yeah, here we go. Slow to trust. Dwarves get along passably well with most other races. The difference between acquaintance and a friend is about 100 years. It's a dwarf saying that might be hyperbole, but certainly points to how difficult it can be for a member of a short-lived race like humans to earn a dwarf's trust. For elves, they say it's not wise to depend on the elves. No telling what an elf will do next when the hammer meets an orc's head.
See?
They're as apt to start singing as to pull out a sword. They're flighty and frivolous. Two
I
things to
love
be said
flighting.
for them, though. They don't have many smiths, but the ones they do have do very fine work. And when orcs or goblins come streaming down out of the mountains,
We
an elf's
kick
good
the
to have at your
dog
back.
shit. Whoa, hey, come on.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's talking about how dwarves typically feel about elves.
All right, so we're
Not
at
as good
war
as a
with the
dwarf,
elves.
maybe, but no doubt they hate orcs as much as we do.
Okay, all right. So the friend of my friend, the friend of, or
The enemy of my enemy. is
yeah,
my-
that thing. You know, I get hit in the head a lot. So
See,
so
you got-
fuck the orcs, I guess. Like, is that where we're going with
Yeah,
this? Like,
oftentimes orcs are seen as just evil.
they're just the shit-ons of the Dungeons and Dragons world.
Yeah. I mean, often it depends on how your DM wants to play it, but the dungeon, the main books, the basic gameplay would probably tell you that orcs are the bad guys. They don't want to think about anything other than kill, pillage, whatever. Right? That's just kind of their deal. As a dwarf, you have dark vision, so you can see in the dark a lot better than other races.
That couldn't be more different than real life.
Yeah, your vision's pretty poor in real life. You have stronger resilience against poison. So you'll do a little bit better.
I mean, that makes sense. I got a high tolerance, and alcohol technically is a poison.
You'll just automatically have proficiency with battle axes, hand axes, light hammers, and war hammers.
See, war hammers.
Right.
And I tamed my bear, Smokey.
You can get a proficiency with smith tools, brewer supplies, or mason tools. So, I mean, take your pick there.
I can start my own fucking brewery.
You could start a brewery. You could be proficient with brewer's supplies.
What is the name of my brewery?
You'll have to come up with that one on your own, bud.
The Dwarven Forge.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, wow, that was off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little misleading when you walk into a Dwarven Forge.
He just hands you a bunch of beer?
He hands you beer.
Okay.
You're like, I'm not against it.
Okay.
I just was here to get some, like, weapons made. You have
maybe it is. Maybe if, like, I'm like, hey, man, I can get you drunk. I can build you a sword. Like, whatever you need me to do.
You'll have stone cunning, which if you ever make a history check related to the origin of stonework, you'll have, what is it?
That might be the most boring thing I've heard all fucking week.
Yeah, you'll either be proficient in it, or you can get a double proficiency in it. So basically, if you see stonework, your character's most likely going to be like, I know what fucking race made that stonework. Or like, I know...
Was it the fucking elves, Anthony?
Yeah, I know elves made this stonework.
I don't trust them. All right?
It's not as good as Dwarven.
No, it's not, because Dwarvens are the master race, Anthony.
Oh my god, stop. No.
Sorry.
This is the wrong... Bad, Joe. You'll automatically know how to speak Common. Common, I guess you could just call it English in this sense. But
I don't know any others.
Common is like what most races can speak. You probably are speaking Common in Dungeons and Dragons.
That's fine, because I speak English in real life.
But you'll also know how to speak Dwarvish. So if you're in a situation where you're with another dwarf or another Dwarvish speaker, and you don't want other people who can't speak Dwarvish to understand what you're saying, you can just start speaking Dwarvish with them.
So like my Mexican friends speak Dwarvish? Because when they all get together, they start speaking some language I don't understand.
This was a mistake. This whole topic was a mistake. I don't know where we're going with this.
Okay, so I can speak Dwarvish. I have a warhammer, a bear named Smokey.
Uh-huh.
I got some heavy armor because I'm a goddamn tank.
Yep.
I'm not real sneaky.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, you don't make friends very well either.
I don't like the elves or the kobolds.
You're kind of dumb.
I'm kind of dumb. But, like, I made friends with you, so, like, I got this demon child on my side.
Yeah.
Like, now we just need to go pillage an elf village.
Wait, no. No, I don't think anyone wants to write a campaign for you where you pillage an elf village.
Why not?
Also, my character Baroque is very anti-racist. I don't know if they would get along now that I'm thinking about it.
I'm not racist. I just don't like the elves.
That kind of sounds racist.
It's not racist. It's elvish.
We're done talking about this.
Racist is an ugly term, Anthony.
Dungeons and Dragons is a game that's been around since 1974.
That's a fairly long time.
Yeah, it was designed by Gary Gygax, who's the guy who typically gets name dropped the most. But
Gary Gygax? That's a dope last name.
Dave Arneson also helped develop the game.
Arsonist, gotcha.
Yeah. And Gary
Gygax and arsonist. That sounds like a horrible law firm.
Gygax has been kind of the most outspoken, talking about his game. He's been there to try to defend it against some of the controversies that have arisen from it.
What are some of these controversies?
Right.
I'm doing air quotes, by the way.
you could hear those air quotes. So the controversies in Dungeons and Dragons, they've kind of died down a lot more now. But a lot of it kind of comes from a lot of the same place Pokemon controversies came from, where parents just kind of, a lot more Christian parents saw it as
I knew the Christians were going to be involved in this. They
pretty
are.
often, yeah. They saw it as like devil worship, or, people like living out a life that isn't real, is fictional, and, forgetting what reality is, kind of stuff. That's what they see it as. Let me go ahead and move around a couple things.
Yeah, of course people want to forget reality because it sucks a lot. Like, so if you guys can just band together, not do drugs or do drugs, it's a free country. Like, and get together and play this game, I don't see what's wrong with it. I don't see what's wrong with it at all.
I guess to touch on a couple stories, because this will kind of help paint a good picture. So there was a young man who disappeared in 1979. And this man already had a history of depression and already one suicide attempt under his belt. Not good. So, of course, we're already off to a pretty poor start with how people are going to react to his disappearance. An investigator was hired, and that investigator discovered that the man played Dungeons and Dragons. He would even participate in live action role-playing, LARPing. And they would do it in steam tunnels underneath the town, which is kind of where this investigator is thinking he probably disappeared in these steam tunnels. It seems like a poor place to do that, guys.
Yeah, it seems horrible.
If you're gonna live action role play, do it somewhere not dangerous,
like
please.
Outside in the open or woods or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just don't do it somewhere like steam tunnels.
All right, that's like, hey man, you want to go LARP in the sewer? Like, no, don't fucking do that.
So the media took it the direction they always do. Straight into a nosedive down into the fucking pits of the world.
Of course.
They basically started saying that, Dungeons and Dragons will cause like suicidal tendencies in players or even delusions between fiction and reality. Eventually, this young man was found, and he later did successfully commit suicide via gunshot.
No, that's not good.
I didn't really want to throw any names into this story. You can find his name rather easily if you look for it, but this isn't really what we're talking about, so that's why I keep referring to him as young man. The investigator of the case later spoke out against the controversy. He claimed that the young man's domineering mother likely had more to do with his suicide than his interest in the game.
So wait, you're telling me like a domineering mother and depression might have like played more of a hand in the suicide than Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes.
I mean, that
it adds up.
Yeah, no, that all adds up, and the media's like, no. It was obviously this devil worshipping, and which I don't know how the hell is devil worshipping in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I mean, there are demons, but you're not worshiping them.
I mean, you're half demon.
Typically, you're fighting them.
You seem pretty cool. I'd drink with your half demon.
Sure.
Wait, do half demons drink? Or do tea leaves drink?
Yeah, tieflings drink.
Yeah, tinctures. Yeah, whatever. What do they drink? What does a half demon drink?
The same things anyone else.
Please say human blood.
Come on, Joe. Yeah, my people.
Please say elf blood.
my people have worked long and hard to get past that stereotype. All right.
Fine. Could I offer you some ale?
Yeah, ale would be great.
See, look at that. We're already
friends. We're already talking.
The dwarves and the tea leaves have totally teamed up. And now we're going to pillage the elves.
No.
Damn it. You gotta be on my team at some point, Anthony.
Not against elves. I've got nothing against elves.
Fine. Who do you not like? Which race do you... You know what? That's gonna sound horrible. I know where you're going with this now.
Please, no more.
What group of things aren't you fond of?
Probably the undead.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can't fucking be like, hey, you want some ale to a zombie?
Yeah, typically that doesn't work well. So yeah, of course, this type of thing, especially with the way the media handled it, it did not help the game. It was very poor, because this was already back in 79. This game wasn't that old by that point.
Oh, no. No, it was not.
So, already the media is trying to pick on this game and trying to make it seem as if it's a lot worse than it is. Another story, another controversy. Give me a moment. Sorry about that. A woman named Patricia Pulling. I don't mind naming her out loud because fuck her. She founded a campaign.
Was she an elf? Because, she sounds like an elf.
Yeah, fuck her. She founded a campaign called Bothered About Dungeons and Dragons. BADD. That's a fucking,
God, I already hate this woman.
That's a Karen name if I've ever heard one.
That's like higher level Karen.
Now, to be fair to her, there is one thing I feel bad about. She founded this after her son committed suicide. So I feel bad that her son committed suicide. That's
okay.
shitty, no matter how you look at it. Her
Maybe you should
reaction to
address
it,
the
though,
real issues, though.
her reaction to it, though, was not very justifiable. So I can't really pretend.
Why can't you just be bad? Mothers Against Depression. Like, maybe
Exactly.
you should try that. Like,
Thank you. Let's tackle depression and not a game that people use to escape shitty reality. I mean,
right,
come on.
the
now.
only thing possibly holding him tethered to life, but that's besides the point.
She attempted a lawsuit against the school principal, claiming he was the cause of a D&D related curse laid on her son.
All right, so obviously mental illness runs in the family.
This woman already was not doing so hot in the mental faculties. This campaign basically solely consisted of her, which is also pretty funny.
It's like every other campaign I've ever been on.
And her lawsuit was thrown out, of course. A lot of her claims were disproven by reporters, especially one...
Or just common sense.
Common sense was good too, but this guy, Michael A. Stackpole, treated her pretty good. He found gamers typically had lower suicide rates than non-gamers. Again, imagine that.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. You got a shitty world, you want to escape it, and now all of a sudden, I'm a fucking dwarf with a bear. I'm all right with this.
Yeah, you're much farther from depression than you were, a couple hours ago.
Yeah, I am.
Because now you have this inner Joe to live out, this dwarf.
Right, exactly. Like, I got this weird fantasy. I mean, above other weird fantasies, but that's a whole nother story.
Unsurprisingly, her campaign died along with her in 1997.
I mean, yeah.
When she passed, there wasn't a lot of people carrying on that torch. There wasn't much of a torch to carry.
It's more of like a matchstick at this point. That just went out. She's just carrying the stick still.
There was a 1985 episode of 60 Minutes with one of the co-creators of D&D, Gary Gygax, on it. And he is quoted as saying, "This is make-believe. No one is martyred. There's no violence here. To use an analogy with another game, who is bankrupted by a game of Monopoly? Nobody is. The money isn't real. There is no link except perhaps in the mind of those who are desperately looking for any other cause than their own failures as a parent."
Wow, he just laid the Gygax into that.
Yeah. Gygax was. You could definitely tell he's the type of guy who he's like, no, I'm not taking anybody's fucking shit.
I like that guy. I totally like that guy. Lay down the Gygax, bro.
Yeah. So I mean, you definitely could see from there where there's been a media struggle between, and obviously we're talking about like the 80s Americas, like 80s into 90s. There's a lot more, Bible thumping going on.
Oh, there's so much Bible thumping.
So when you're talking about a game that has demons in it at all, including characters who summon demons or worship demons, that's gonna scare some people. And I can kind of understand if you're, you've lived your Christian life your whole life, you're a little old woman at this point, and you're hearing about people who are playing games with devil worship in it. It's a little scary. But keep in mind that this is all make-believe. It's all books. It's in the same vein as like Harry Potter. It's just fictional stuff.
All the other stuff I haven't read.
Right. Which, to be, maybe saying Harry Potter wasn't a great idea because
Harry Potter also sucks.
There was also controversy with Harry Potter. So,
yeah, there was.
When you get down to it.
It's because superheroes don't have fucking wands. Yeah, I said it. Fight me.
I mean, you can still do more than you.
He's a fictional character, Anthony.
Okay. A little worried once I brought...
fuck you and fuck your butterbeer.
Once I brought your own skill into this, it worried you a bit.
I'll beat the brakes off a wizard. Fuck you, Dumbledore. Fight me.
Yeah, it got to the point where there was even a time in Dungeons & Dragons history that they tried to change all of the names of like what demons were. They tried to call them like, otherworldly beings or whatever.
Daemons. Just throw to make an accent in there for some reason.
Throw an accent in there. It's different. For a time they were called something else, but when the reigns got passed over again with the most recent edition, or I think this was a couple editions ago, but the point is somebody went, no, that's stupid. They're demons, and now it's back to being demons again.
And that's why, just be whatever you're gonna be, man. Like fuck everybody else.
But when we're talking about 2020 America, I mean, nobody really cares anymore. D&D is not the type of thing that catches a lot of controversy anymore.
There's so much other things out there, a huge pandemic we should probably worry about.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot more serious things to worry about than, if your son's playing a game where there are demons.
Have you seen Grand Theft Auto? No, you go ahead and play your Dungeons and Dragons, buddy.
Yeah, at least you're not like running over prostitutes with a car.
That was my game, though. I mean, as you would expect. So, all right. So now that I've got all my character and stuff,
right,
and you got your character,
sure,
and say we got like 4 other characters with us in our little party. Is it called a party?
You can call it a party. Why not?
I mean, if there's enough ale involved, hell yeah, I'm calling it a party.
That's a party.
That's a party. All right, so what are we going to go do? We got to go do something.
Yeah.
Raid an elf village.
No.
Damn it. Fine, all right, you're team leader, because apparently I'm just going to lead us into shit.
You're going to lead us into a race war, and I'm not interested. So that's up to your dungeon master typically. So they're the ones that build the setting, build the story, and they can choose to either write their own story or use like a pre-made story. And there's lots to pick from. I have never DM'd myself, so I actually don't know how it all works. But I have somewhat of an idea. There are books you can buy.
Can I be the DM next time you guys play?
That sounds dangerous. Especially since you haven't played at all. Though I wouldn't be against it. It'd be a one-shot. I wouldn't want to do any more than that. But you could, you would need a book called The Dungeon Master's Guide. This kind of explains a lot of the rules of the game and how to play it. And whether or not you actually follow those rules is kind of up to you. Because this is a game about role-playing. This is a game about doing, what it is you want to do. And at the end of the day, the DM kind of has the last say on things. I mean, you can't just be like, my character sprouts wings and flies away. The Dungeon Master is going to have to okay that one. And chances are likely they're going to say no.
You know who has fairy? You know who has wings? Fairies. And fuck them too. No, you don't get that.
All right, you don't have wings then.
Yeah, you don't have wings because they're stupid.
But with you saying that you want a Mjolnir, your Dungeon Master might just say, no, you're not getting Mjolnir.
And then he's going to get punched in real life. So, watch what you do, Dungeon Master.
Yeah, you'd have to think about that. But chances are more likely your Dungeon Master would say, we'll see. And we'll work towards you getting
my
Mjolnir.
wife says we'll see.
Right.
And that never ends in a yes.
You know what that actually means.
It's just going to tip you out of your chair and be like, I'm Dungeon Master now.
Yeah. But I would say if you gave your Dungeon Master a lot to work with, a lot of backstory that made writing a story around your characters more fun for them, letting them,
I've been trying to raid an elf village for the better part of an hour now.
See, that part can get annoying. Especially if nobody wants to write your elf village raid story, Joe.
Look, I'm a dwarf. I'm not making weapons. Well, if I do say, all right, your demon needs a demon blade. And I'm like, all right, well, I need resources. Do you know who has the resources?
All right, I know you're trying to lead me into saying elves, so sure.
The elves have the resources. And I was like, hey, elf brethren, how you doing? They were like, no, you're not getting our resources. I was like, hey, I got good money, or dwarf money, or whatever the hell y'all use for currency.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, man, no. And I'm like, all right, fine, I have slaves. Do you want slaves? Because we can do that too. All right? And they're like, no, we don't have slaves in our society. I'm like, all right, well, look, I offered you 2 ways out of this. Now I'm raiding your shit.
Joe's character is now like true evil. Like he's like neutral evil. Like he's not lawful or chaotic. He's just evil.
I think I'm more of a chaotic evil.
I mean lawful because at first you did try to buy the resources. I don't know why they would say no. Your money's good.
Okay, you know who's got... Okay. All right, so whatever. We found the resources, but we had to buy them off of them, and apparently the elves are really tight-fisted when it comes to money. So I'm like, all right, so I bought all these things. So now I need to make the magic because you're half demon. Now I need to make your sword magic. You know who's got the magic, Anthony?
You leave them alone, Joe. There are other people who can do this. The elves aren't the only ones who are magic.
All right, fine. The druids, they're cool. So I'm like, hey,
that's fine. I'm not going to argue that one.
Hey, druid boys. All right, I'm kind of half ranger, so I'm kind of almost you. So I'm like, hey man, you want to play I don't know, dice? And I'm like, hey, and I throw this dice, and like me and these druids are getting down on a game of dice, and we're drinking a little bit of ale. So like now us and the druids are friends, right? So we got more people in our army, and like
Okay, we're building an army.
I got the magic, all right. And I'm like, here's your magic sword. So now I got you, and you go back to your demon buddies, and you're like, hey, this guy makes really good shit. You should definitely buy from him. So I'm like,
I shouldn't
hey.
have even said that the tieflings are half demon, because that's the only part you heard.
All right, so your tiefling brethren, all right, like you're all like, yeah, he's really cool. Like we both drink, and like we have plenty of ale, and now plenty of silver or gold or I don't know. Whatever your currency is.
You're good. Yeah, copper, silver, gold.
Yeah, see? Look, I already know. I can totally be a dungeon master, Anthony. And like
That's all you gotta know.
So I got all those things, and I'm like, hey guys, you wanna go raid an elf village? I'm sorry. So like who's the main baddies of this other than the orcs? Because I know you guys just fuck up the orcs.
I guess we just fuck up orcs.
I mean that's cool.
And again, it's what your dungeon master decides on. In one of the games I'm playing now, our dungeon master seems to be setting up a lich. I'm sure you have somewhat of an idea of what a lich is, right? No? Okay, so a lich is an individual
Take my silence for ignorance.
And a lich is an individual who's achieved like functional immortality through undeath. They're basically like
now we have to kill him.
Right, a living but not like stupid zombie person. They're not really like a zombie, but they control an undead army. That's kind of
you're gonna need an army, and hey, I just got an army.
And you only tried to direct them into elves one time. A lich is a type of being that typically has kind of like their soul essence in I forget what the name, phylactery, I think. I can't remember what the name of it is exactly, but it's basically an item that they keep very safe, somewhere in a very safe spot.
Now we gotta find this damn thing.
If you break it, they die. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm breaking the shit out of it with my warhammer. Then I'm gonna feed that damn thing to my bear.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Look at this is, fuck.
So
lynching.
I mean that could be a campaign setting. You might have a campaign setting where like some high-ranking demon has basically decided like fuck you and everyone you love, and you might have to basically go to hell to fuck up a demon, you know. Or you might have
all right. Well, we're going to hell. Me and my army.
Yeah, you might. It also might just be something as simple as the lord of the countryside you've been living in is like, hey, I want you to go, deal with some issues we've had around the place. And as
Who the fuck is that lord to tell me what
exactly
to do?
You may start digging in and realizing like, hold on a second, kobolds didn't attack my village.
It was the lord all along.
Yeah, it was the lord who hired
What's the lord's name?
He's Lord Flashy Bottoms.
Yeah, fuck Lord Flashy Bottoms.
What a douchebag.
Because he's got really fancy pants, and I'm like, oh, he's real fancy pants.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of money, and he's like, hey, kobolds, come here. I need you to go raid this camp with the fairies, or not the elves, whatever. I need you to go raid that camp.
Joe,
with the
the
elves.
one dwarf living amongst a village of fairies.
Okay. I need you to go raid the dwarves with the elves, and like, it was fucking him all along.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lord Fancy Bottom is gonna get his ass kicked.
Boom. There you go.
Boom. Can I armor my bear? Does my bear have armor?
You could probably, we could.
Can I ride him into
we could
battle?
Figure something out.
I'm
Absolutely.
riding him into battle.
Yeah.
Against the elves and Lord Fancy Bottom.
You're a dwarf. Your movement speed's pretty trash, but a bear
is not trash.
Yeah, that thing moves fucking fast.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I've already leveled up, and I'm not even trying to level up.
Exactly. So now maybe you and your party have decided, like, okay, we know Lord Flashy Bottoms is the real, shithead here. Let's fuck him up, but let's do it the smart way. And your character's already grabbing his hammer.
This is why you're the leader.
Yeah, your character's already grabbing his hammer, like, I'll knock his fucking head in. No, did Joe understand? Or Yoden, whatever the fuck.
Woden, yeah.
Woden.
I love how you instinctively said Joe, because that wasn't a Freudian slip.
Like, no, hold on. We got a better way of doing this. Like, he thinks he can pull one over on us.
Ooh, it's go time.
Let's pull one over on him. All right? So now maybe that's how your campaign's going to go. You've actually got a little bit more of intrigue going on.
So now I have to send my dwarf spies in.
Yeah. Infiltrate the castle and learn a few things about Flashy Bottoms. You know, when does he take off the Flashy Bottoms? When is he at his weakest? When's he got his pants down, you know?
You gotta catch him with his pants down. Exactly. I mean, obviously, we're gonna have to storm him when he's on the shitter.
Yeah, and then you might find out that Flashy Bottoms is, you know, but one of many shitty nobles in the area.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Now you're leading a campaign against all the fucking
I bet you they're fucking elves too, aren't they? They're elves. They're all elven bastards.
They're all elves. You've got your elf war, Joe.
Exactly. Look at this. I'm already creating a genocidal war. All right, so I have to go get these elf nobleman bastards, and they're all like, look at my white coat and my fucking...
Woden the dwarf likes genocide, dislikes elves. We're already putting them together.
Okay, it's not... Genocide's an ugly term, all right? But if you've ever mounted an elf, you can be like, no, I understand where Woden's coming from, all right? And look, maybe I have like a superpower. I'm like, hey, look at my warhammer. Boom, I threw my warhammer. Now it's going to come back to me. Can I have that?
Maybe. That would be like a magic.
What did I tell you about that word, Anthony? You can't
I'm
say
sorry,
maybe.
I'm sorry. We'll see. Because that's what you're more used to.
I hate you so much. Just let me have the magic hammer.
No.
God damn it. This is stupid. I don't even want to play this game anymore.
Look, I'm not going to say no. I had a character with a boomerang that always came back to him. But like always came back to him.
Yeah. And I'm like, hey, Mjolnir, come here. Because it's now made Mjolnir.
Sure, but it'd have to be magic.
Stormbreaker.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Stormbreaker. And I'm riding a bear named Smokey. Oh, God. I need someone to paint me a picture. If there's any artists out there.
Yeah, get us some fan art going on the double of Woden the dwarf riding his bear into battle. Broke the tiefling standing behind him looking like, what the fuck am I watching right now?
So we have to penetrate the castle. And we got to kiss this guy with his pants down. Ha! Plot twist. He's a chronic masturbator, and they're usually down.
They're almost always down. He was
all right.
He's like my secret. My pants are always down.
So he's like a chronic masturbator that's really into like public indecency. So he's doing it outside on his patio, right?
He's not flashy pants. He's crusty pants.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, hey guys, he likes to masturbate on his patio and sunbathe at the same time. So I get my little sniper fucking crosshair thing out. Crossbow, sniper crossbow, because I have one of those. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I take that asshole out, and they're like, oh no, fucking Lord Fancy Bottom is dead. And then we just storm their shit because I've got a demon dwarf, and I'm pretty sure somebody else is involved, army behind me.
Yes.
So we're going to scale this shit. Anthony, I need you to grab the archers because I'm going to need cover because I got to throw these ladders up on this castle.
Right.
Because they drew the drawbridge. There's a moat. I can't swim. I'm a dwarf. I'm tiny. I'm plated in armor, so obviously I can't fucking swim anywhere. So, like, I'm going to need you to get on the trebuchet, set some shit on fire, maybe throw in a dead cow because no one likes the plague. All right? So, fuck Lord Fancy Bottom and his elvish kingdom. We're taking his shit, and I'm gonna need your demon army to help me out.
Do you just like you wrote like you're not aware of this? You wrote like a reverse Battle of Helm's Deep just now. There's a Lord of the Rings event. It's like something that happens in Lord of the Rings where they have to protect like a fucking wall from orcs that are invading.
Oh God, am I really an orc?
You're just like cool, we're gonna fuck them up. So you're putting the ladders up and shit. All right. No, that's fine. I'm down with that.
So like, we finally get into the castle, and I'm like, hey, fuck you, your leader's dead, because I just sniped him with my magical crosshair, because now it's fucking magical.
It's magic, right? You've made every weapon magic.
And like, yeah, because I have your demon blood in it, and the fairies, like I squashed like 3 fairies earlier and just rubbed them on my shit. Yeah. So like automatically it's magic now because that's how magic works.
You pulled out your magic juicer and you juiced those fairies.
Just juiced the shit out the fairies. So like now I've got fairy. Now I'm magic even more because I've got fairy protein powder.
Yeah.
So like now that boosts my strength and I guess my constitution up even more because now I'm like a bro dwarf.
And now you're just constipated.
Yeah, so. I mean, oh God, that sucks.
Yeah,
but it's fine. I'll fight constipated if it gives me more power.
Sure.
So like me and Smokey are riding into battle again, and like, hey, Fucking all of a sudden they're like, hey, we'll pay you if you go away. And I'm like, oh, shit. I do like shiny objects. So, like, I kind of let them pay. And I'm like, all right, cool. We're not going to do anything anymore. Bam. You're probably a sneaky demon. And you're talking to them like, hey, yeah, they're going to walk away and everything. You paid them. And bam. Ninjas. They hit them at
Now
night.
you've included ninjas in this.
Wait, there's not ninjas. Who would be the closest to ninjas? Don't you dare say elves.
It wouldn't be a bad choice.
I hate you. I hate elves. Alright, so now the kobolds joined my army too. The lizard people, because they were like, yeah, this guy fucked us.
Yeah, they've been used.
Yeah, they've been used by High Lord fucking Fancy Bridges.
Uh-huh.
And like his little elven creatures or whatever. Like, so now, like, the fucking reptile from Mortal Kombat type creatures, like, they're just like going through there. We've stolen all their shit. Now I'm burning down their kingdom because fuck elves. That's why. I have all their gold now.
Joe, you feel like wrapping this up?
Yeah, alright, fine. Before I go any further with this.
This is a dangerous game we've been playing.
This is a very dangerous game we've been playing. I think it was what we've come down to is I'm a god and elves suck. Right?
In your own little world, yes, Joe. And that's really the whole point of this practice. This little situation.
Exactly. I just made up my own thing.
It was to let you.
I'm not sure.
It was to let you have your own little imaginary fun, Joe, and I'm glad you did.
And I'm glad that you were the leader and consistently stomped on me and wouldn't let me have a magic hammer.
These things need to be dealt with.
A magic crossbow and snipe that asshole, so I win. Ha 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 ha.
You sure did.
Fuck you, Grand Wizard.
You sure did show Lord Stanky Bottoms.
Yeah.
That's what.
Fuck that guy. I'm never playing Dungeons and Dragons.
It's kind of surprising because I feel like you do have some creativity, but you don't have the patience.
I don't have the patience and or the wherewithal for like rules.
The ADHD slows you down a little bit.
Or speeds it up, one of the two.
It speeds it up right into a brick wall.
So, long story short, I'm now Dungeon Master. So, if you guys ever want to play with me, you should get a hold of me. I don't know, fucking DM me on Facebook. You see what I did there? DM me on Facebook, because I'm the goddamn Dragon Master.
Yeah, he doesn't own any dice or any books, but he will write you a story.
I will absolutely write you a story. If there's any artists out there, I'm going to need you to draw me that picture. Just let me know. Hit me with the DM.
I wouldn't mind seeing a dwarf on a bear. That would be pretty cool.
Like a full armored dwarf on a bear.
Yeah. All right, Joe.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry we did all this.
You probably should be sorry.
I apologize to
the elves.
Tried
to steer this away.
They haven't done anything
elf
to me.
Genocide. But, it's the way it goes at the end of the day.
I want to apologize to all the elves and fairies out there, if you're one of them. No, you know what? I'm not apologizing to anybody. No. Fuck the elves.
Okay, we're ending the podcast. Goodbye, everybody. We're an all-inclusive podcast. You can be an elf or a fairy. There's no issues here.
Oh, you think that? Okay, all right, fine. We're done.
Bye, everyone.